To use the 8.5 by 11 full bleed tearaway flyer tab, boy that's a mouthful, template, open it up and then I'll talk you through what everything is. So on here we can see some different colored lines. The purple indicates the bleed, so this is a full bleed object. That means it's going to have some area trimmed away. The trim is the black line, so there's the black line that you'll cut along, which means the bleed area is outside of that and it'll get trimmed off. These are tick marks, that's what you'll use to line your rulers up with when you trim. And then the blue area, it's a little different on this template than the others. This is the safe area up here for your main part of the flyer. Down here, these are each little tearaway tabs that you will take scissors and you would cut up to this top dotted line to make it so that they can be torn away to have the information taken away with them. So to set up for really any template, it's best to create a folder or a group folder that you can put everything into. So if you grab your marquee tool and go to view and make sure your snap option is on, and then and also that your guides are showing if they're not showing. There's some guides built into this template. You can say show and then guides. So with those two options turned on, you should be pretty easily able to select from the top to the bottom right corner so that clear up to that outside bleed is selected. And then in your layers panel, click on the little folder button at the bottom to create a new group, and then the layer or layer mask button to add a layer mask to it. And now when you create a new layer by clicking the new layer button, there will be a new layer in there, and you can see that if you fill it with a color, all of that ink stays inside of this bleed area and you're not having any excess ink outside of it, and you're also not covering up your tick marks. Now to turn your guidelines off and on, you can hit Command semicolon. And also know these guidelines do not print. They are there just for your visual information. Now there's a problem. I put down this color and now I can't see any of my template. So if you click on the background layer and duplicate it by hitting Command J, and then move it up to the top of all of your layers and set the blend mode to multiply, and then lock it by clicking this little lock. That'll make sure that you don't move it accidentally. There you can see pretty much all of your lines. It's a little harder on this blue to see that inside blue safe line, but everything else looks pretty good. So that's how you would work with your template. Any graphics or text that you create should go inside of this folder group because that will make it so that you don't cover up any of your tick marks on accident. You can turn your guidelines off and on by hitting Command semicolon, and you can turn your Snap To feature off and on by going to the view and choosing Snap. You can see there is a Command Shift semicolon command key if you want to use that. Save this as a PSD as you're working, and then check with your printer for final specs for how to save your file out to submit to your printer. When you do save your final file, be sure and turn off this top template layer because those lines you do not want printing. You don't want to have your trim line accidentally printing over all of those. So anyway, that's how you work with a tearaway tab template.